Hi everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It's me, Elizabeth, and I'm coming to you from Sedona, Arizona, and I'm going to be doing a twin flame update, energy update for the twins today. So thank you all for joining me. It has been a while. I always have the intention of doing these more frequently, and then I don't. So it's just sort of like when it happens, it happens. So for those of you who enjoyed the last reading, I'm very happy that you did. And thank you for your encouragement, and the feedback that I received for that video. I did make a playlist on my channel of some of the other twin flame videos that I've done. And I feel like a lot of these messages are timeless because we're all at different points in the journey, and it just sort of like goes round and round and round. It spirals upwards, and occasionally it spirals back down. So if you wanted to see more of my channelings and readings regarding twin flame, feel free to check out that playlist. I think I called it twin flame love readings, that kind of thing. Some of them are more basic love readings, but certainly some of them are definitely like they're twin flame specific. So anyway, I was just sort of like pulling some cards, just getting out a few decks, and I didn't get very far. I took out the Influence of the Angels Tarot, which is a really nice, powerful deck. I really love this. So we'll start with that for tarot. And then I'm just going to kind of like pick from my decks and just see what wants to come out tonight. I did pull the Mary Magdalene Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno, and I have two cards already because one card just kept flying out. So I'm shuffling them, I'm clearing the energy of the cards, and it came out twice. So I knew that this wanted just to be sort of like the lead card and the overall energy and maybe the topic of this reading. And then of course, I always check the bottom of the deck if you know me. So these are the two cards that came out. And we will we'll get into the reading. We'll pull for, I feel like this is just an overall energy. I would like to touch on the feminine tonight. So we'll see where we go with this. I don't want to keep it, I don't want to make it too long, but we'll see. Let's just go with the flow. So I really want to bring in the energy of Mary Magdalene and Isis as always. So this is Goddess Isis here. And Mary Magdalene, I've been watching the Chosen series on YouTube. It's a free series that you can watch on YouTube. If you want to watch past seasons, you have to download the app, which is free, and it can connect into like your Roku and things like that. So you can actually watch it on your laptop or your TV. But anyway, Mary Magdalene is such an important part of, the story and twin flame journey as well. And Mary she is an energy that I really connect to and feel very, very deeply. And many of you do as well, I'm sure. So the energy of Jesus and Mary, Yeshua and Mary, and then Isis and Osiris. So, kind of from both energies. They're slightly different, but it's the same. So anyway, the card that kept coming out was the Matrix, right? So this is the illusion. This is the 3D. This is where we willingly came to experience this physical incarnation as a twin, where we're here to forget and to remember. And it's the various stages of awakening. So, maybe your awakening was just a year ago. There's layers to it though. It's like, there's no beginning and no end to this. But the Matrix, where we find ourselves, and inside of that, there's so much duality and there's so much polarization. And inside of that, is what was at the bottom of the deck, is the saint and the sinner. And I mean, this just sums it all up for twin flame, right? The Matrix, the saint and the sinner, who we are here in this physical world, the duality, the forgetting, and the desperate search for remembering, right? And the duality and the non-duality, because these have been like topics that have been on my mind a lot lately. Days where I feel very much inside of the polarization of the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, truth and lies. And then some days where I feel very much more, it's all one. and just kind of being in that and allowing that to happen as it comes, because we are, you know, escaping this. We're breaking this. Our awakening is breaking through this, where we realize that this isn't even a tangible thing. This matrix, it's not even tangible. It's actually an illusion. And maybe that's part of the non-duality, but the saint and the sinner, you know, the masculine and the feminine, you know, so I feel like that's going to mean a lot to a lot of you. Perhaps you've sort of like embodied more of this saintly energy, the one who gets to point the finger. You were, you know, and perhaps at some point in your journey, cast the blame, the victim, you know, versus the victimizer. It's all of that. And Mary Magdalene is really asking us to look at that. So there's an energy of being able to see both sides of the same coin for what they are. And that is a manifestation, a physical manifestation of this, is that it almost has to be this way to some degree, because it provides a catalyst. Now, for, let's say that your twin has been deemed the sinner inside of the union, the one who's made the mistakes, the one who has been responsible for a lot of the betrayal, the runner, let's just say, the one who takes on more of the narcissistic tendencies, let's just say. And then you have the saint, where maybe that's how you've identified. This is the archetype that maybe you've had throughout your twin flame journey, of the martyr, the empath, the healer. Okay, so it's that light and that shadow. And that's sort of like where we are here. But the whole process of this is to see beyond this. And that's where Twin Flame Journey provides us with this great catalyst for awakening and self-realization. You know, that these are tears here and pain that is holy in some kind of nature. This is the axis of the saint and the sinner that awakens us. And this blue energy, this deep, deep blue, is like about healing. So that this is a healing journey. And this matrix, like, it looks, I don't know, like it's so fiery, and I'm hearing like fire and brimstone, you know, that it can take you into the depths of hell, or at least that's where it can feel like you go inside of this journey sometimes, is like deep down into some of the darker places. Anyway, and so that's the energy that Mary wanted us to start with. So I want to get like another card from this deck, and then I want to pull some tarot. So we'll just get into the tarot. So this is like for both of the twins. It's like, it is sort of like breaking free out of these roles, that like transcending it. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for, is being able to transcend some of this and break free from this. This is like what keeps the twins in separation, really. It was a necessary part of it, but this is where, like, if we carry on in this way of like, I'm bad, you're good, or I'm good, you're bad, that there will always be separation. There can't be like unity in this place of such like extreme polarization. So some of the downloads that I've been getting recently is about empaths and healthy boundaries and people pleasing. So I guess I could talk about that for a moment. This may not resonate for all of you. This may actually be something that's coming up for you outside of your twin flame journey, like outside of the union of you and your actual twin, is the energy of people pleasing. And for a lot of empaths, a lot of saints, there has been this sort of like history that a lot of us have had of people pleasing, and it's afraid of not being liked. It's a fear of not being admired. It's a fear of looking bad. It's a fear of looking like a sinner. It's a fear of looking selfish, that it's hard to say no. This is something that I do feel that I've worked through like over the course of the last maybe 5 to even 10 years. So I've definitely transcended a lot of that, like a good portion of it. So now I can see it in other people. And I do see it in a lot of, let's say, light workers inside of the spiritual community, inside of whatever. So I feel like it's relevant to this because saint and sinner. So if you're experiencing some of this, then I'm glad I'm touching on it, because it's sort of like this people pleasing that some people have learned. It's something that they've learned. It's something where they were receiving positive like reinforcement from always saying yes, or always bending over backwards for other people, not having boundaries, not being able to set boundaries. And it makes them into a saint. And really, it's a form of manipulation. So that's like when we talk about the narcissistic tendencies, let's say, of the sinner, being lies, deception, gaslighting, whatever, actually this incessant like people pleasing and not being able to speak a truth and set clear boundaries is something that is in itself a manipulation as well, because essentially it's manipulating other people into thinking that like you're a certain way when maybe it's just being repressed. You know, there's a fear of not being liked. There's a fear of just like being the bad person. For some people, it can be religious. It's like something they were taught in, let's say, their early stages as a child inside of church or inside of their culture, that you have to just shut up and do what's right, and you can't have any needs of your own or any boundaries of your own. So that's the saint, that's the martyr, right? And then really it's a manipulation though, because I found that a lot of times, for me, like having experienced some of this energy sort of recently, it is manipulative, because it's actually not the person's like true self. And they may not even be aware of it. And these aren't bad people. They're such good people at their core who just want to be helpful, want to do the right thing, but yet can't put a clear boundary around where the other person begin, like where they end, where the other person ends and they begin. There's no boundary. So if you find yourself in a situation where like someone around you, a mother or, you know, a sibling or your partner, someone at work, like your boss, let's just say, doesn't have this ability, it puts you in a vulnerable situation, because then you're not, it makes you less able to speak your truth and set your boundaries, let's just say. So anyway, exploring this juxtaposition of the saint and the sinner, I think it's really important, because we can see where it's not black and white, you know, it's so much deeper. And it's funny because that card of color just came out. It's not black and white. You know, it's so much more deeply layered. And I think for a long time with the twins, it was always this energy of good and bad, of black and white, of things having to look a certain way, be a certain way. But really, there's so much more to it. So anyway, I think we'll just see where we go with this. But just like realizing that, you know, everybody is inside of this to some degree or another. Some people are very much less inside of this illusion and this trapping. Many of the twins are breaking free of that. Light workers, you know, whatever you want to call it, healers, sages, you know, are really breaking free of this, but it's now we can look at it with a new perspective. Our perception of things is changing. I really feel like inside of the Twin Flame Collective, our perception of things is changing. And so looking at your own journey where you may have been the saint, where you may have been even the sinner, and like looking at it from a bigger perspective where it's not black and white, where there's actually so many different possibilities inside of that, I think it really helps paint a much more wider, clearer picture, because we're not looking at things from the same eyes. If you've been on the journey, you know, for a long time, or maybe you're just new to it, I do feel as though like the energies that we're moving through are so accelerated that maybe people who have just kind of like realized that they were on the journey a year ago could be catching up with people who have been on it for three years or 4 years. Maybe you've been on this journey for a decade. You know, it's different for everybody. So there is a lot of confusion. That's what was landed at the bottom underneath this color. You know, a lot of confusion about what our own role was. And I do feel like from the feminine perspective, my perspective, I am sort of like looking at things a lot differently. I'm seeing from new eyes. I'm seeing from a totally different perspective. And I feel like that's also the energy of the masculine, is seeing the feminine from a different perspective as well, and seeing like the journey from a different perspective, even seeing himself with different eyes now. I do feel as though some of the fog is being lifted for the masculines and for the feminines. There's just like a new energy that's come in around perception, around right and wrong, around blame, and around like why things are the way that they are. You know, this is not an easy journey. Intimacy is coming out. So, that's really nice. I'm feeling like with this color, there is like a yearning for intimacy with one another, the feminines and the masculines, perhaps both really being in a place of really yearning for that connection, that really special, close connection. If you have anybody like new in your life, or if your masculines are in other relationships, you know, that it just doesn't offer the same level of connection, obviously, as Twin Flame does. You know, that intimacy is something that both parties are yearning for. Yeah, so all right, let's get into some tarot, and then I will pull from the Isis Oracle as well. So I think I'm gonna do like some side-by-sides here. So we'll do like masculine, we'll do feminine on the left, masculine on the right, and then we'll do bridging energy down the middle. So thank you, angels. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you to Mary Magdalene. Just call in those energies, and Goddess Isis, energy of Yeshua. All right, so starting with the feminine, this is what is on the feminine's mind. Wow. So we get the Queen of Cups in the reverse with the Four of Wands. Yeah, this is where it is emotional, you know, this union, and it is very up and down. So the feminines are really like, you know, thinking about union. And it may not all be pretty when you're thinking about it. So it's kind of all over the place. It could be just a sadness around the lack of union, you know. Also, I feel like for the feminines, what's on her mind is her foundation. You know, this solid foundation a lot of you have been building for yourself. And it's kind of sad that there isn't like, that your person isn't there, like, you know, to be there with you, to see this foundation that you've really built for yourself. And then for the masculine, what's on his mind is the Three of Wands in the reverse with the Page of Cups upright. So the masculine's heart energy is upright as far as what's in his mind, though. So he is thinking about, you know, offering his cup of love. That's what he's thinking about, how to create a new emotional start for you, for the two of you, but not quite knowing how to go about doing that, like feeling like it is at such a distance. So really, really feeling the distance. So it's interesting because it's like for the masculine, we get the Page of Cups in the upright with the Three of Wands in the reverse. And here it's a mirroring energy. Here we get the Queen of Cups in the reverse with the Four of Wands upright. So the wands are upright for the feminine. The wands are in the reverse for the masculine. The cups for the feminine is reversed. The cup for the masculine is upright. So there's a total mirroring energy. This is the same side of the opposite coin. So there is some sadness that's with the feminine around this lack of union, or around this foundation, this stability that you have built for yourself. Perhaps like, you know, you are sort of like celebrating how far you've come and seeing where like, you know, union is lacking in your life. And the masculine is wanting to offer his heart. He's thinking about it because this is like in the mind. But he doesn't quite know how to manifest it. It's such a mirroring energy here. And then I'm going to pull one for the bonding energy. Ace of Wands in the reverse. So when the aces come up in reverse, it doesn't mean that they're not there. It's there. It's just that like there's a delay, there's a blockage, but the ace is there. So this is the bonding energy. And this is like, look at this. It's the hand of God. It's Manus Day. This is the hand of God that's coming in. So the opportunity for this spiritual connection, this spiritual union is there. But there's a delay. And let's get the next one with the sun. You know, so it's like, it's only a matter of time. This sun is so amazing, you guys. So this like could be referring even to Leo season here, you know. It's like this is the hand of God and this is God. So it's there either way. And I don't know, there is such an innocence here, you know, with the cherubs that are like, it's just healing. It's golden healing light. So this is the bonding energy of this beautiful healing, beautiful, beautiful healing light. I mean, the Ace of Wands, it will flip, you know, it has to when the sun is there. There we go. So, you know, that's the bonding energy. It's love, the energy of the sun, like it's love, you guys. And the ace, it's the delay. This is like the blockage. And even with the intimacy, it's like that yearning for that connection to God, the connection to source, the connection to your soul, you know, and that's what twin flame is. It is about the connection to your soul. Really beautiful. So that is the bonding energy. I don't know. And on some level too, I feel like it's like, both twins are being shown the light, but there's a stubbornness here, like neither one is taking it. So it goes back to like this energy. Perhaps there's one party that's like, I'm the bad one. I did all the horrible things. So why would I come forward? Because I did so many awful things. And then the other opposite end of it is the saint who's like, why would I come forward? You know, I'm so perfect and everything I did was awesome. It's just this, and this may not be how it's like totally manifesting in your physical world. I'm kind of like exaggerating the energy a little bit, you know, or maybe not so much. Maybe this is true. But again, because it's not so black and white, you know, with this color energy. But it's like on both sides, there's this desire for union, for manifestation. And in the middle is source, is God, is light, is love, is joy, is all of it. It's like, it doesn't get any better than the sun. So I'm feeling it's like, who's gonna come forward first? Who's gonna take this wand first? Who's gonna take this wand first? What a beautiful card, right? This Ace of Wands. All right, so I'm gonna look at the heart space of both twins. So for the feminine, we got the Nine of Cups. And the Seven of Wands in the reverse. Yep. For the masculine, there's the Ace in reverse again. So Ace of Cups in the reverse and the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Wow. And then the bonding energy, we get Judgment in the reverse and the Two of Cups upright. Like, it's all there, you guys. It's really all there. I'm just feeling like a very sort of stubborn energy coming from both parties. The feminine, you know, is being a bit like sort of guarded here, emotionally guarded. These are my cups and I can't give anyone access to them so easily anymore. This is what's in the heart. I've had to work really hard for my emotional stability, and it is coming out under that Queen of Cups in the reverse. So it's even like I'm still working on my emotional stability, you know, but it's showing where there is a wish, you know, there really, really is a wish. With the Seven of Wands in the reverse, I'm feeling like there is this energy of sort of being scared for the feminine. Like, if I did go in and fight for this, if I did go in, like, because, you know, in the Seven of Wands, it's like, you know, you have the higher ground. You know, this is where, on some level, like, you know that your masculines, you know, see you as an energy that is elevated in their life. It was an elevated experience. It was a higher level experience. You know, it was this beautiful intimacy. It was a world full of color and artistry. It was a masterpiece that was like inside of this sort of this matrix, you know, inside of this illusion that so it's like, on some level, you need to know that you have that, you're almost like up on a pedestal in a sense. But I'm just wondering if maybe the feminines are sort of wondering if they did go in and speak a truth or want to have a conversation or want to fight for this, if they would be received very well. So there's also, I'm hearing like it's almost like a fear of rejection, you know. Like there's 9 cups and the 10th cup is not there, right? But there's almost like being sort of comfortable here, right? being sort of comfortable here, where what would happen if you went looking for that 10th cup, right? And the masculines, it's a little bit different for them. They have the cup, right? Here's the Ace of Cups, and it's in the reverse. So again, it's that sort of delayed energy with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. So this is where there's definitely like a blockage. The energy is sort of stuck. It's a bit stagnant. It's not moving forward. 3 of Wands in reverse. You know, it's not moving forward. It's a stuck energy and inside of the heart space. So this is where they're at, perhaps in their heart space. It's the energy of being unlucky in love, you know? So for them, it's sort of like this energy of perhaps being a victim, like victimized by their own heart, victimized by love. The feminines, I'm seeing like lacking some kind of courage. And the masculines, I'm feeling like they're feeling sort of victimized by their own heart, that they're just unlucky in love. And perhaps that's just the way that it is down here. You know, it's really interesting. I wasn't like expecting these energies. Wow, I really wasn't expecting this kind of energy. And then in the bonding energy of the heart is Judgment in the reverse with the 2 of Cups in the upright. So in the heart space, the bonding energy is the union. It's the love. It's the soul connection. It's the one cup that is unlike any other cup you've ever had, ever. And it's the relationship that will always be the one, whether, you know, it's resurrected or not. There's this energy of like not wanting to wait until you're old and gray for this, right? It's reversed. So inside of both of the twins, it's like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for union, you know, for both the twins. Am I ready for all of this? It's also the heart in both cases is not fully answering the call. I feel as though the twins are being called into union with the sun. So it looks like this. Here's the sun. Here's like the angels, you know, the light is surrounding the planet and it's surrounding the twins. And here's the energy of not heeding the call. And not answering it. So judgment can often be where there's a second chance and there's forgiveness. So it's also speaking to forgiveness on both parts. And I just really think that everything in this reading is going back to this saint and sinner. You know, the masculines, I'm wondering if they're sort of feeling... The Page of Cups is, you know, the I'm sorry card. And here's my cup of love. And, you know, it's a message of love. It's an apology. It's an offer of love. So that's the only thing that's upright for them. The 3 of Wands is reversed. The Ace of Cups is reversed. The Wheel of Fortune is reversed. But that Page of Cups is upright. So it's like thinking about this small gesture, but feeling like stuck on this wheel, you know, stuck inside of a lot of this illusion of this wheel here. No movement. There's no movement towards each other, like, at all. And the thing about this whole energy is that, like, you really do feel each other on the upper dimensions, in the astral, in your dream time. you feel each other. So if I'm saying this about the masculine, you may be feeling like that they are thinking about how they can communicate with you, how they can approach you, but then it doesn't happen. It's like, you know, here we have this angel like blowing that wheel forward, you know, it's reverse. So it's just like getting, it's like they're stuck on the wheel, and then they're feeling this energy of the Queen of Cups being in the reverse. So, you know, it's like you're both feeling each other's energies a lot. And Seven of Wands in reverse, that the masculine, that the feminine, where she's coming from, it's like also about like giving up the fight, you know, giving up the fight to stay somewhere where perhaps it's just, it's safer. Your cups are safer here for the feminines watching. Your heart is safer here, you know? So there's a want, because feminines have the Four of Wands in the upright, this desire for union. This is a gateway here. This is a gateway through to the other side, you know, of this awakening. So that, you know, moving beyond this duality. So the desire is also there for the feminine. You know, feminine energy upright is union. Masculine energy upright is Page of Cups. So there is this desire for love, for union. The masculines do want to say they're sorry. The feminines just like want to move past it and move through the gateway. But I'm seeing that there's like some kind of a lack of forgiveness here. But the union is there. So pretty amazing, you guys. Let's get a message from the Isis Oracle deck. Okay, so what fell out over the feminine side, we see Isis and Osiris together, and you don't see that in every card here, is the miracle of Isis, miraculous healing of the goddess. And typically we see it to where Isis has actually healed Osiris. So I think that maybe what they're talking about here is the miracle of Isis, how she was able to travel into the underworld and retrieve Osiris because he was killed by his brother Set. And Isis, she's able to move between the worlds. That's part of her ability. That's part of her magic. And so she actually went into the underworld. She traveled there to retrieve, to do like a soul retrieval for him, and sort of like put him back together again. So I want to just read about this. So yeah, she was capable of miraculous healings. It is about like recovering from trauma and emotional healing, and we see the masculine and the feminine there, both of them together. So I think the bigger message here is like both twins are sort of like doing a lot of healing right now, deep emotional healing, and healing, recovering from trauma, and also speaking to the ability that both of the twins have as powerful healers, you know. And inside of this energy is where those abilities have been forgotten, unrealized, because when the twins come into their own power, or when any human being remembers his or her own divinity and comes into his or her own power, you know, this sort of like is dismantled even more. The old paradigm, the old way of doing things, of being things, being a slave, being a prisoner. You know, the more people awaken to their God-given abilities, the awakening, the less power any of these control systems have over us. So it's also talking about like the healing abilities of both of the twins. And it's not really talking, it's interesting because it's not really talking about like her healing Osiris, but that really is what I'm getting from this, is about how, you know, they were separated, you know, and then she like healed him and put him back together again. And that was like a miracle healing, but that she is a master healer. And so it's speaking obviously to the feminine energy. So, you know, but that both of the twins possess these abilities and capabilities, and it is about like remembering that. So that's like why it's so important to move past these stereotypes and these sort of like the boxes that we put ourselves in, you know, on this journey. These boxes are so limiting, and they only allow us to go so far on the journey. Were you done wrong? Were you hurt? Were you betrayed? Did you experience all of this heartbreak? Absolutely. And but we can't stay there forever. And whether there's reunion or not, it's, you know, we know that physical union isn't the whole story here, you know, that there's so much more to it. You know, in the bonding energy, these cards were upright. The Sun with the Two of Cups, it's beautiful. The Ace is in reverse, you know, it's still there though. It's just reversed right now. And Judgment, this is such a huge energy. You know, this is that total awakening and transformation, answering the call. Once you move through Judgment, you don't go back. So it's just not quite actualized right now. And what I see for the feminines, I do see that there is healing that needs to be done for the feminines too, around core wounding of perhaps not being able to defend yourself. That could be that energy of the people pleasing, you know, the empath energy of not having strong enough boundaries, that maybe this has been like a huge lesson for you. You've really been learning how to do this, but there is some like the feminines, the energy of the feminines does feel a bit afraid to me. And the masculine energy feels stuck. So, but I feel like the feminines are feeling emotional, and like I was saying, like up and down, there's some sadness there. But there's also like this sense of like being kind of like safe right now, you know, your heart feels sort of safe right now, but it's still missing something. It's, there's still this yearning, you know, for intimacy. But you feel like you have this emotional intelligence about you, you know, that you really like, are coming from a place where, you know, you're not the same person that you were last year, or the year before, or the year before that. Like you have a new truth around inside of your heart. This is even where like thinking about like, if you did have union, what would that look like? This wish for union. Well, what would it even look like? You're different now. So how would that, has that vision changed for you inside of this sort of like, new perception that you have, a new way of looking at things where everything isn't black and white. It's a lot more colorful now. So how has that changed? But I am seeing that, for some of the feminines, it's union is a bit scary. Like, what would that even look like? And for the masculines, it feels very stuck. It feels like they don't quite know how to move forward. They know the cup is there and they have it, but they don't quite know how to offer it. They may feel that the feminine is so far away, so there's this energy of like how to even manifest this. But the bonding energy, God is bringing in the wand, and the wand manifests. So I think I'm going to pull from the gods and titans for the masculine. And I'm going to keep the book handy in case it's a god or a titan that I'm not that familiar with. So let's get an energy for the masculine. I love how in the Miracle of Isis, Osiris is literally carrying Isis on his shoulders. So, you know, it is this like, I've got your back, like, and in some cases, the behind the scenes, the masculines, like, they have such a powerfully strong energy that in many cases, feminines, they're carrying you and you're not even aware of it. I was at Goodwill last week, and like in every part of the store, I would see a nod to the poem Footprints. It was like in all different parts of the store. And that's what I'm feeling here. It's like the person who's praying to God, like, how come you abandoned me when I needed you the most? That's where I only saw like 2 footprints. And God is saying like, I didn't abandon you. That's when I carried you. I knew it meant something. I just kept seeing like a poem, a picture, like it was in every corner of the store. It was super weird. And I didn't like buy anything. I know the Footprints poem, and it's a beautiful poem, and text. And it, you know, and not that, you know, this is the masculine is God, but, you know, we're God and goddess, right? And we're fractals of the divine. You know, God created us in his image, or her image. And so anyway, I'm feeling like this is something that Spirit wants us to know for the feminines, is that somehow on some level your masculine is still somehow there for you when you need him the most. And I'm also wondering as well, with this Queen of Cups in the reverse, the twins really do mirror each other. So if you perhaps are feeling a specific emotion, like out of the blue, like you don't even know where it came from, you're feeling fine one day and the next day not so fine, you really may be feeling your masculine, feeling something that they're going through. And if that is the case, then the reverse is also true. So I think that this is the overall energy of like the healing is so important, and we have to remember that our yearning, you know, perhaps for union or yearning for intimacy has to take a back seat to our own personal development and personal journey. So the healing of trauma, the energy of being whole on your own is very, very important, because you're feeling each other. So about this raising of your vibration, turning your 9th cup into your own 10th cup, it just being at peace and being in the flow and being joyful. The energy of the sun is coming in for both of the twins. And maybe, you know, this Ace of Wands of like a new beginning is delayed, but the sun is there. Like, it's almost like, well, what more do we need than the sun? What more do we need than this? And this 2 of Cups is there. It will always be there. But right now, you know, it is about also the union that you have within yourself and the healing journey that you are on as your own unique individual self. All right, so let's get a message from the gods and titans for the masculine, current energy for the masculine. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I have to tell you, like, it's so crazy. All right, we've got a Nordic god here, an Asian god, Ul. We've got Akat. We've got Shiva, the Hindu god, Jade Emperor, an Asian god, Vulcan. We've got Aries of War, Typhoon, Anubis. We've got Zeus. We've got Maui. We've got Odin. We've got Hermes, the Greek god, Cernunnos, the Celtic god, Achilles, another Greek god. Okay, so I'm just going to Prometheus, Dionysus, Eros, Green Man, Apollo, Ganesha. What came out? The Egyptian god of Ra for the masculine. This is amazing. Power, power. And there were 2 cards that flew out, and the other one was Set. So this was the brother of Osiris, who in a jealous rage killed him and chopped him up into like 100 different pieces and scattered him all about in the underworld. So Set is coming out as a reminder of that, of the forces that seek to keep the twins separate because we're so powerful together, and even within yourself to keep you fragmented, to take away parts of yourself, to allow you to give away parts of yourself that fragment your energy, that keep you from wholeness, that keep you from actualizing your mission on this planet. So that's what this is a reminder of, this jealousy that is, that literally like makes up the fabric of this. It's fear, control, oppression, jealousy. It's all of that that makes up the fabric of this system. That's what this is. And then Bayami came out of beauty. And this almost looks like, I don't know, we're not going to read that one, or maybe we will if we have time. But Ra coming out for the masculine energy, which is so amazing because Ra is the energy of, the sun god. And there's a story about Isis, and she approaches Ra, and she beseeches him to give her the names of power, to speak his name to her, and thereby giving her all of the secrets and giving her all of the power. And that's why she is, goddess energy. She's divine mother. She's your divine sister. She's a magician. She's, but she's also a magician because Ra gave her the names of power. It's not that she tricked him into it. He gave them to her willingly. And this was the sun god. There was like nothing higher than Ra in Egyptian culture. And so it was said that like Isis had all of his powers. So there's a match here. It's showing where there is equal balance between the masculine and the feminine. You are a match. No one is better than the other, the saint and sinner. And yes, I know it may appear that way in the physical world, inside of this system that we've found ourselves in, that one is more saintly and one is not so saintly, but it's all a part of the process. And in the spiritual realms, we are equal, okay? We are equal. And I think that as a part of this judgment in reverse, that is like one of the most important takeaways, is the forgiveness aspect and being able to leave the past in the past and move forward with a lighter heart around twin flame journey, is to at least have a lighter heart around the journey. This isn't about excusing behavior that devastates you, okay? As a masculine or a feminine. We're not here to excuse behaviors or allow that back in. Hey, come and hurt me. Like, we're not excusing that, but there is a lightening of the heart around the journey. As long, you may be in a space where you absolutely just have to heal a lot. You're healing from a lot of these hurts and betrayals, lies, abandonment, broken promises, all of that. And even trying to figure out, is this an actual twin flame? Is it a false twin? What is this? What is this situation that I can't seem to, let go of, that it's just always there. I keep coming back to it. No matter how much healing I do, how much processing I do, it actually brings you closer to it. Even though sometimes you may feel like your world's apart, it's still such a huge part of you. So, anyway, Ra, okay. Know that you have power and it is real. Excuse me. This is from a different deck. So this is Gods and Titans. We were using the Isis Oracle by Alana Fairchild. This is Gods and Titans by Stacey DeMarco. Okay, so, this is about like just this beautiful power, and it's like the emperor on steroids, It's the embodiment of power, creative power, solar power, power in leadership, and physical power. So powerful was Ra within the Egyptian pantheon that his identity was often combined and fused with other gods' identities. That's interesting. Pharaohs were known as sons of Ra, as a reference to their omnipotence, and all considered Ra a father figure. So for the masculines, this may be like a karmic cycle regarding their father, meaning that they're here to sort of heal some of the sins of the father, if that makes sense. Okay. And, you know, what their power looks like, being able to step into their power from their light side instead of their shadow side and not let it corrupt them. They are powerful beings, and they can be, you know, power can corrupt people. So obviously Ra was worshipped, la 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 la. It's the personification of the sun, you know. So the mighty Ra calls us to power up and become fully alive. This is a big energy for them to be able to get that wheel turning just in their life in general, and be able to like manifest again and see like success in their life. Anyway, so when we feel drained or powerless, we are not honoring our birthright. When it seems like our lives are being controlled by rules and what others ask or tell us to do, it is easy to feel powerless. And I do really feel like if you watch some of my older readings, the masculines were absolutely giving a lot of their power away inside of other relationships, inside of jobs, inside of even their family. Like they were just kind of going through the motions. It was sort of like they were giving a lot of their power away, but there was still an arrogance and money, stability, like status, all of that was really important to them. So there was like definitely, I had past readings where they really were giving a lot of their power away to other people, but I do feel that they've called a lot of that power back. And that's something that's been coming up over the last several months, was that they started, there was a shift for them and started calling a lot of their power back. So I feel like that's where they are, is in this place of calling a lot of their power back. They've been reviewing their life a lot to release things, people, situations, jobs, all of the things that like don't serve them. There's a huge purging that they've been doing, definite tower moments that they've been through. But now with regards to like twin flame or union with the twin, it's not moving, you know, there's a desire for it. But they're not there yet. And from what I can see, the feminines aren't quite there yet either. Even if you may be yelling and screaming at me right now, from what I'm seeing, there's still some fear around it, is really what I'm seeing. So, okay. So it's also about like their vitality. I feel like this is also about their sexual power and calling that back for good, where they've given their bodies away too easily, like where they're calling back their sacred sexuality even. So Ra calls us outside to receive the blessing of the sun. So it's like that sun card that we saw, like they are being called, like you see, called to receive the blessing of the sun. And that's why I said, even though this Ace of Wands is in reverse for them, nothing can stop it. You know, it's coming. They're moving towards it. And that was for the feminine as well. So this mirroring energy, you can even read this for yourself, your own divine masculine within you, that you're being called to your own personal power. So we need the sun's rays to set off essential chemical reactions in our body. So production of vitamin D, blah, 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 your immune system, light codes, all of that. Okay, so without that, you can feel tired or even confused. The shadow side, it can corrupt, and it's the abuse of power in its shadow side. within teams, families, groups of friends, at a job, within governments, and it's damaging on so many levels. And that's like, you know, for lack of a better word, the patriarchy, the paradigm, the matrix, it's all of it. It was the shadow side of this energy. And so the masculine energy, you know, is a physical embodiment of both the light and the shadow of this. And so again, going back to the saint and sinner, you know, where they've used their power in a beautiful way and where they've used it from the shadow side, and also how they are also a product of, you know, this paradigm that we found ourselves in since these, you know, since Egypt fell, since Rome, you know, all Rome came into power, the Roman Empire, all of that. Again, it's not an excuse. We just explore the energies here. I in no way, shape, or form want any of you to be in a relationship that is abusive, demeaning, takes away your power, is, you know, uses you in any way, shape, or form. Like I am here to encourage everybody to be in their own personal power, personal truth, and in a place where they feel loved and appreciated and respected and valued. But I do really like to explore these energies because this is a journey. And one thing that I have really realized throughout my life is that people evolve. So there is an evolution that happens for many people, maybe not all people, but people who are on a spiritual path and a spiritual journey, they evolve throughout their life. And so energies are shifting and changing all over the place. And for those of you that feel that you are really in a twin flame, on a twin flame journey, these may be some of the energies that you are moving through. So let's see. It's so funny that set came out though. I can't even believe that. I think I'm gonna put my crown on while we finish this. Okay. So I'm going to pull a few closing messages. I'm going to use The Art Through the Eyes of the Soul by Cheryl Yambra Rose. This is just a really beautiful deck, and just get a few closing messages. Hopefully this resonated for some of you. I'm not, you know, really seeing much about the karmic energy, but probably because I didn't pull enough cards. I can read into that if you want. Maybe I'll just take a few minutes and read into if your masculine or your feminine is involved in another relationship, and just read into that energy. So thank you, Spirit. Let's get a few messages here for the twins, current energy of the twins as we are in Cancer season. And we are approaching Lionsgate, the 8/8 portal that's coming up, and that always really activates twin flame, and it always brings shifts and changes into twin flame union. And that could be that card, you know, the sun coming out, and Ra, the sun god, coming out. You know, it's really interesting. It's definitely a nod to August and Lionsgate, 8/8. Okay. So we get love with an open heart. And it's funny because this, to me, of all the cards in this deck, this reminds me of the energy of Mary Magdalene. Even, you know, with the cloak over her head, you know, love with an open heart, anoint your beloved. And that, you know, Mary did like carry the vessel with the anointing oils. And I believe that she even anointed Jesus, didn't she? That's a powerful message, love with an open heart, and anoint your beloved. So when we anoint, like I anoint myself, I make my own anointing oils. And if anyone's ever interested, you know, I could certainly make you some. And I'd be happy to charge you a nominal fee and send them to you. But let's read this one. This is a beautiful card, you guys, especially like for twin flame. This is such a beautiful card. This is from 2010. Keep your love sacred with ceremony. Take time apart from the mundane world to be with your partner. Aromatherapy oils, this is the union of anointing one another, of holding each other as sacred. So this is sort of like what's going on in the spiritual realms, I feel like. If you're anointing yourself, maybe hold the space that that's also what you're doing for your beloved, for your twin flame. It's such a beautiful energy. Love with an open heart. This is for both of you. And at the bottom is accept the opportunity that is offered. So we see the masculine coming in and the feminine is holding the cup. So you guys, if this does happen for you, I'm just feeling like maybe Lionsgate, you know, it's sacred. If they do come in with a message for you or an offer, just know that it's very sacred at this time. So you guys, that's going to do it for now. I went just over an hour. I think we will leave it there and revisit this as soon as possible. So I love you so much. Take good care. Namaste.